beginning review Tomb Raider Legend. I I don't know if Miss Fisher would talk about Legend or Anniversary. It could be both actually, but my point is I don't care what she says. The game is good. Keely Hawes is decent at Lara Croft. I really like her. I thought she'd be good at it, but I just there's something about her. I don't know. It's not as good as the Survivor games, because I feel like it's the Uncharted games built off what was bad about the Legends games, so Legend timeline, and then the Survivor timeline built off of Uncharted. They built off each other all the time like that. But yeah, it's fun. It's great. Anyway, final review. Afterlife. It's the only Ricky Gervais show that I've liked. Like I love Ricky Gervais, but all the shows are boring. But this one, I love it. That's all there really is to it. Although I haven't seen Idiot Abroad, the Ricky Gervais show, or Life's Too Short, so I can't comment about those. Cowboy Bebop 2021, universally negative ratings, Netflix original series. I watched it on Netflix. It's on show. Jeff Stoltz, not noble. The quality of it is terrible. It feels more like a rocket jump video than television. So, and I hate to say this because of how hypocritical it'll be, but it's not real cinema. But it was still entertaining. Just like they should have just done a loyal adaptation instead of this. Prisoners universally positive ratings, directed by Danny Villeneuve. I watched on Netflix. Jake Gyllenhaal, Hugh Jackman, Paul Dano, Terrence Howard, Viola Davis, Maria Bello, David Dastmalchian, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Del Manette, Wayne Duvall. Sorry, I don't know Wayne Duvall. I don't know why I said his name. But anyway, it's good. Everything about it's good actually. The music, the pacing, the writing, the acting. The acting is top tier. Camera work, all that. It's crazy how perfect everything is. Wouldn't call it a perfect film though, but still. Nick Houghton, X ratings, watch it on Netflix. Ben Affleck, Anna Kendrick, Sean Bernfeld, J.K. Simmons, Long Live Guy, Cynthia Ajay Robinson, Jeffrey Tambor, Gene Smart. I'm aware that Robert C. Trevalier was in Prisoners, but I don't actually know who he is, considering he hasn't done really anything at all. Anyway, it's good. I'd say it's a bit worse than a 7.3. I'd give it like a 7. But it doesn't deserve like 51, 53s, whatever it got. Yeah, it doesn't deserve the 51 or 52. Which, sorry, I dropped the tablet. It is really good at autism awareness, and my granny was watching it 2 weeks before I did, and she put it off after 15 minutes because I can't make out how an autistic fit. Well, I don't want to watch. Why would I want to watch you have an autistic fit? Like, I said it. One small role of the film, two, it serves a really important purpose to show how his upbringing affected his life and with his autism and all that, and you couldn't understand. It's like, see, come on, what's that Channel 4 thing? Like, why do I have to see gay kissing at the table? But except this served the purpose. Just whatever. This means as of 8 to 7 p.m. on Sunday the 23rd of January 2022. I can't play the sound for either of these because both copyrighted music, despite the fact the second thing really shouldn't be copyrighted, but I'll explain that later. For the first thing, it's the song "Crazy" by, I don't know who sings it, Seal Ring, I guess, but it's the start where he goes, "I remember when," but it's it's like he has dementia. He goes, "I remember when, I remember when, I remember," you know. When you're streaming, it starts getting a little too intense. Jim Carrey contorting his own facial structure to make a facial expression. Skeletal structure, sorry. The music in the background is Undertale. I was pretty sure it's Undertale, but now I don't actually know. Okay, it is. It's the Probias theme from Undertale. Me going to work knowing someone sold a JPEG of an app for $300,039. I screwed that up. $439,000. This Twitter as of 3 past 7. Billions wiped off crypto market as Bitcoin crashes. If 10-20% drops or crash, it means stock market crashes every month. Big dips happen in crypto with regular occurrence. It's mostly driven by regulation. For example, every time China announced they would ban it, numbers go down. Russia did the same thing yesterday, and guess what? Number go down. It happens. Sorry, I'm just gonna reposition myself in my bed. Post best slide meme for Russia/Ukraine book. Well, this man, Ed Leaf presenting the first course and dinner at Jack's. Well, this man unblocked me just to make sure I saw the dumbest tweet on the internet. I'll love Jack since he left Twitter. Natural immunity was 6 times stronger during Delta wave than vaccination, according to a new report from the US Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Anyone else notice how all this new science has been coming out in the last 2 weeks and the narrative is totally shifting? Usually they do it a little more gradually than this. First movie in the good chair. Here we go. Never heard of this movie. Yes, I've heard this movie is like Grave and Fireflies kind of movie, but after you've watched it, you never want to see it again. This is such a strange film. Just got to where he and the girl runs away from the village and the girl looks back never before. There's literally a couple frames made by heart sync. I remember reading about a scene where they fired live ammunition over the actor. Wait. My uncle was talking about this today. Something about like a Russian film using real guns that they fired live ammo over the actors. Okay. You can't miss it. It's very obvious those were live razor-runs. Just got to the bar scene, which is based on a true story. Apparently, the film is pretty brutal, but it's not as bad as it was hyped up to be. Okay, just got the girl that's really grim. Finished. It's grim, but nowhere near as bad as the hype. A lot of scenes are really strange and seem more artsy than anything, but overall I enjoyed it. Finally watched Come and See. It wasn't as brutal as I thought it was going to be, but it was still really there and hit me hard. Some scenes were really strange, as was the script, which sort of felt like one of those artsy nonsensical student films trying to be cool. Those parts just left me confused, like the stuff with Flora and Galasha hiding out the woods, and Galasha says all this really weird crap didn't make sense. I find all those scenes really weird, but after that, it got into the really good stuff. After the bomb and the audio of the movie actually shifts to what you would hear if you had tinnitus, and holy crap, they get that exact, and it makes you feel claustrophobic and frustrated, which, come on. Some of the scenes that after this is when Flora takes Glasha back to the village and can't find his mother and twin sisters. Glasha can sense something is up before he's acting weird, like tonight is messing with his head. Runs off to take Glasha where am I hiding. I'm trying to avoid spoilers, but this part got me. Where Glasha and Flora are running out of the village to find his family, and Glasha looks back. It only shows you this for a couple seconds, a couple frames, but actually jumps it really executed really well. Then we got more weird stuff in that climbing free a bog. This scene was just really uncomfortable. I have no idea why Flora was acting like this. Maybe he knew what happened but was in denial. Maybe the denial still made him act weird, no clue, but this was just weird. Then they hook him up with refugees and Flora's chat about with the village elder. He warned about this. I actually really like a scene. Then Flora literally buries his head in mud wall of the babushkas nailed him, instantly turning a good scene to another weird one. After that, funny comes the infamous cow saga. Now allegedly literally machine gunned a cow for the scene. After watching it, I'm not sure. Yes, they used live ammunition shot before his head. That was obvious. Yes, the way that cow reacted being shot looked very real. The next thing you can tell, it isn't a prop. It's the exact same cow. It's very real and is in fact dead. Even when Flora is trying to pick it up and move it, you can tell it's a real carcass. I'm not sure, but I think they might have actually machine gunned the cow. Then we get to the village, which is the climax of the movie. The infamous barn scene won't spoil, but it's extremely screwed up. And is made even worse by the fact that it's something that actually happened. It's also the famous screenshot that everyone has seen. I haven't. But shortly after that comes this scene. I don't even want to talk to you about this part. If you know, you know. If you don't, then you're lucky. After that, the movie wraps up in a bittersweet way, followed by a really strange ending. Overall, the movie was good, but at some points seemed to be some artsy, completely sideswiped you with some really cerebral horror stuff to caught you off guard. One thing the movie executed well is the effect that the Horrors of War have on the next generation. Transformation that Flora went through is incredible. The handsome, fresh face, smiling 14-year-old, happy to fight for his country, is excited about becoming a man. By the end of the movie, he's a broken soul, is hostile at his age, 40 years in the space of a few months. That's because of all the horrors he's seen. Overall, the movie is really dark and grim. I enjoyed it though, it didn't hit me as hard as I thought, since I think it was overhyped, but it's actually a very brutal movie. Worth watching if you don't mind the really weird artsy scenes that don't make sense. Still a great movie. Check Twitter. Marcus settled an argument which the new M&M's would you close Twitter. See, he made the unwise decision to let my wife try the good chair. She won't give it back.